Yes, thank you. Let me give you a few more details of the expected disbursements from the EFSF to Greece, and I will also say a few words on the ESM activities, the recent ones. As President Juncker already said, after the approval by the Eurogroup today, the EFSF is prepared to make available to Greece 49.1 billion euro between now and the end of March. By the way, this amount, 49.1 billion, is fully covered by the overall envelope of 109 billion agreed as a second program for Greece. Within this envelope of 49.1 billion between now and the end of March, we will disperse immediately the next few days for 34.3 billion. This has three elements, this amount of 34 billion. I think you will get a table soon that will give you all the details, but I will mention them already. So three elements: 16 billion euro for the bank recapitalization and bank resolution, 7 billion for budgetary financing, and 11.3 billion euro to finance the debt buyback. Only the 7 billion euro for the budgetary financing will be provided in cash. The rest will be provided in bonds and bills. Then in the first quarter of 2013, 14.8 billion are available from the EFSF to Greece. Out of that, 7.2 billion in January next year for the Greek bank recapitalization and resolution. And after that, we have 3 monthly sub-tranches, which will be dispersed when the milestones agreed by the Troika will be met. Let me also mention, because it only happened 2 days ago, that the ESM, the European Stability Mechanism, had its first operation by transferring bills and bonds of 39.5 billion to Spain. This transaction was done between the ESM and the Spanish Central Bank, which then in turn transfers these amounts to the FROP, the Spanish institution that deals with the Spanish banks. The FROP will distribute these amounts to 4 Spanish banks and the Spanish asset management company, the AMC. So as I said, this was the first transaction by the ESM, so it is now fully operational. And as a reminder, the Spanish recapitalization program was agreed in July already under the EFSF, but then transferred to the ESM in late November. I know it's a little bit confusing that these two institutions, EFSF and ESM, exist and act in parallel. Of course, the EFSF is the temporary institution, while the ESM is permanent, but nevertheless, the EFSF will be around for a while, will be active in the foreseeable future, because the EFSF, as you all may remember, will continue to be in charge of financing the programs for Greece, Portugal, and Spain. So the EFSF will continue to deal with all the issuances related to these programs. In this year 2012, which is coming to an end, the EFSF, in this context of financing the 3 programs, has issued bonds and bills with an amount of 120 billion euro. Of these 120 billion euros, 60 billion were raised directly in the markets, roughly 40 billion in long-term bonds and 20 billion in short-term bills. The remaining 60 billion in bills and bonds were done through cashless operations. So the EFSF is looking back at a very successful year where sizable amounts of money were raised and made available to Ireland, Portugal, and Greece. Thank you.